Oh, hello. How y'all doing up there? It's great that it's fantastic. It's fantastic that you're here. So it's fantastic that you're here so we can talk together. Oh, hi. I'm so glad that you. I'm so happy and proud that it's you. Let's have a conversation about the backrooms. And 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 the second level. No. Let's go back a level. The foist. First of all, who? First of all, the floors and the walls are. Well, okay. Let's break this down here. The hasn't anybody thought about the yeah hasn't anybody stopped to think of the walls? Hasn't anybody stopped to think of um why here's the second level. Second, hasn't anybody stopped to think how yellow the floors and the walls are in that first level? I mean, if I didn't know any better, I could swear it was built from everybody's urine. Have you ever thought? Like, have you ever noticed that the floors and the walls and everything around you is your had been made by everybody's urine? Like, and how do you think that I figured that out? And like let's figure this out. The piss yellow floors and walls. Well, I mean, holy gee, like they couldn't be any more yellow. Like, they couldn't be any more yellow. Like, I mean, think about it. If they got any more yellow, you would think they were, urine stained. If they got any more yellow in there, you would swear it was the urine stained room. You know, like if everything, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, and of course it's like, and of course it's advised not to drink whatever is on the floor. Simple. It's urine, piss. Like, I mean, what ding dong would actually drink his own urine? It's on the floor. Like people that been to this room and they tell you not to drink what is on the floor. Well, why do you think they would say that? Simple. It's urine from 1,000 years that has been built over the years. Simple. Why would, like, people who have been there and they're telling you not to drink what's on the floor? It's probably urine from 1,000 years ago. Like, I mean, wouldn't that make sense? Wouldn't that make sense? Like, I mean, like of course you wouldn't be drinking your own urine, or in other words, your own piss, urine, because if you drink it, you would make a face like it, like the lemon. If you ate a lemon whole, your whole face would fall right off. It'd be like, you know, like the most like the most diabolical face in the history of all faces. It would turn into it would turn into that. The most diabolical looking face in the history of all faces. If you ate a lemon whole, if you ate a lemon whole, if you took a lemon and you ate it whole, like if you ate a lemon whole, you would get the most terrifying, terrible looking face in the history of all faces. Like it'd be almost uh, like that, like like Dr. Jekyll turning like like the Jekyll and Hyde story, but in real life, because like you, everyone knows you shouldn't eat a lemon whole, because if you do, you're gonna get a face like that. Because if you do, you're gonna get a face that looks like you're returning into Hyde, you know, and your whole neck and face, goes right inside your pants pocket. So so how so what so so that so that's what people are telling you not to drink off the floor, off the first level of the bathroom, because they know you're gonna make a face that, you know, and of course, like I mean, it's not kidding yourself here. The backrooms is, according to what I watched on YouTube, the most dangerous, diabolical nightmare scape ever in the history of nightmare scapes. And 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 I'm not saying it's fake. It I'm not saying it's a fake place. It is a real place. Where is it on the map? I don't know. No one's gonna tell me that, and no one else, and no one's gonna no one's gonna tell me that where it's on the map, like where it's located. Like really, they're just gonna say, well, the back rooms is this and that, and 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 and, and the and the back rooms is they're explaining the levels. They're not explaining where it actually is located. You know, but back to our ever loving room where it's pissio and should probably have about 145 million toilets in there. You know, because that because that's technically what the first level is. It's a piss yellow room. With thousands and thousands and thousands of years of everyone's urine going down to the toilet, going down to toilets, and ending up here. I mean, whoa! Come on. First of all, that's a lot of urine. And, to be piling up for years. To be piling up for 1,000 years. Did, dinosaurs would have had to use. Dinosaurs would have had to urinate. Animals would have had to urinate. Cavemen probably had to urinate. Every living specimen on this planet would have had to urinate. So I wouldn't be surprised if the first level in the back rooms is called the urine room or the toilet room, as assigned to thousands and thousands of years being of everybody's urine going down the toilet or going down some outside bush, and it's all being collected to make this urine stained room. If, like the ceiling and the floors and the walls and even and even how the so-called office room, they call it, is all piss yellow. Piss yellow. I mean, come on. How dumb are we, people? How dumb are we? That first level is like urine infested. And the good thing, no wonder there are monsters on the first level. They probably were people at one point, but they couldn't take the smell and the stench of the urine, and then they turned, no wonder. No wonder there are monsters on that first level, because they would have at one point been people, but they've been down there so long, taking in the stench of 1,000-year-old urine that they had no choice. They had to turn into monsters, right? No wonder there are monsters on that first level. They would have been people at one point, but the smell of the urine but the smell of the urine-infested walls, ceiling, and floors probably ripped all of their limbs off, and no wonder there are monsters on that first level. They probably used to be people, but they've been dying for so many years, inhaling, basically smelling this urine stench air in this, no wonder there are monsters on that first level, because no wonder there are monsters on that first level, because they probably were people at one point, but 1,000-year-old urine. But since everything is piss yellow down there, and it probably smells like piss down there, I wouldn't be surprised there would be monsters on that first level. Having to take in the fumes, the urine-infested fumes into their up through their noses. No wonder there are monsters on that first level, because they probably were people at one point, but they couldn't take the stench of this 1,000-year-old urine. Everything is the color of urine. The floors, the ceilings, the walls, And the probably and even the stench, if the color of the place wasn't, you know, like it's all urine stained. Urine, like we just changed the title to the toilet room. You know, like I mean, 158 million toilets since the beginning of time. All down there, probably, and everything, you know, the floors, the walls, the ceiling are all urine covered, and the smell is probably urine in, and the smell of that room and the air in that room is probably smelling like 1,000-year-old urine. No wonder there's monsters on that first level, because they probably were people at one point, but the fumes of the urine inflated air turned them into monsters. Like I mean, no wonder. They're in this urine stench. They're in this room. The first level in the backrooms, and it's all urine infested. It's urine it's urine colored everywhere you look. The walls are urine colored. The floors are urine colored. The walls and everything in front of you, and even the air is polluted with urine from 1,000 years ago. So how would you not be surprised if that was an actual urine infested room? The air in there is urine stench. The floors of you know, like, everything. The the floors, like everything. The floor, like everything. The floors, the walls, the ceiling, even the air is polluted in urine. So, come on, like I like like whoever started, like, the polluted air that you're smelling in that first level in the bathrooms is urine stench. The walls, the ceilings, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, you know, everything the eye is looking at is all urine stained. And of course the monsters hate it in there. Why would they be down there so long if they didn't? Why would they be down there so long if they didn't? You know, they probably want to get out of there just as bad as you do because of the stench, the urine infected. They probably want to get out of there as much as you do because they can't take the stench of 1,000-year-old urine. So no wonder, you know, the monsters in that level are probably trying to get out of there too. Maybe worse than you, because they don't want to be in a place, because they don't want to be on a level in the bathrooms that smells and looks like urine. I mean, come on, who wants to be in that kind of a situation, right? Where everything in front of you is urine, is made entirely out of urine. The floor is urine stained. Like the floor is urine colored. The walls are urine colored. The ceiling is urine colored. Heck, even the pollution down there, the air, is all urine infested from from 1,000 years ago. You're trying to get out of there? What about those poor monsters? You know, I know that I know they don't have feelings, but they've probably been done this so long, their feelings have been probably all gone for now, you know? So they got no choice. They gotta stay in their own urine infested level. You know, like I mean the monsters down there have probably inhaled the urine stench longer than you have, by like 1,000 years longer. So no wonder if they're trying to get out of. So no wonder if they're trying to get out of there. So no, you know, they had to inhale the urine stench longer than you have, by 1,000 years longer. So no wonder if they're trying to get out of there. So it's no wonder they're trying to get out of there too. Has anyone ever thought of has anyone ever thought of that? That you're trying to get out of the urine smelling, urine colored room with the back rooms, that you're trying to get out of there, and the monsters down there, they're probably trying to get out of there too, but they can't because they're haunting it. Has anyone ever stopped to think of that? Like I mean, seriously, come on. Like, they've been down there for 1,000 years BC, and you just got there. Somebody must want to get out of there better than, somebody's trying to get, you know, this, you know, the toilet room would be a better title for this level in the background, because that's what this is, you know, everything. It's all urine colored, and probably the smell of urine. You know, everything is all urine colored. The walls, the ceiling, the floor, the polluted air is probably urine smelling as well. And you just got there, and you're trying to get out of there because you can smell it. Has anyone thought about the monsters that are haunting down there? You know, the dead. I can give you a pretty good indication that they died down there because of the stench. I get a pretty good idea that the dead in that level died because of the urine stench down there that has been, I get a pretty good idea that maybe they're dead in there because they couldn't take the smell of the urine polluted air when they were alive. You know, it probably killed them. And that's probably why they're haunting it. Because they couldn't take the stench, the urine stench of 1,000 years when they were alive, and now they're dead as a result of that urine air. You know, they died down there, and I wouldn't be surprised if the urine polluted air down there killed them. Now they're haunting it. So no wonder they didn't get out of there alive. No wonder they did not get out of there alive, because they couldn't take the urine stench that has been down there for 1,000 years BC. You know, they've been smelling it way longer than you have. You know, you just got there, and they've been down there for probably 1,000,000 years, taking in that smell, that urine. You know, they've been probably down there, you just got there a few minutes ago, and what you're smelling is exactly what they've been smelling for, these monsters have probably been killed by this urine stench. Have probably, you know, the monsters that haunt that level probably died down there because they could not take the stench of the urine polluted air, of the urine, you know, they they probably died down there. The monsters that used to be people, and now they're dead, and they're monster-rific. They're monsters now. They used to be people, but now, and they probably tried to get out of there, when they were alive. But since the stench was since the urine polluted air, but since the urine polluted air killed them, now they're haunting it. And now they're haunting the urine polluted air backrooms level because they couldn't, they probably tried to get out of there when they were alive. But they couldn't take the urine stench that has been down there. Like, they probably tried to get out of there when they were alive because they couldn't take the urine polluted stench. They probably tried to get out of there. The first level of the backrooms, they probably tried to get out of there when they were alive because they couldn't take the urine infected, because they couldn't take the urine stench that has been piling up for millions of years. They probably tried to get out of there, okay? They probably tried to get out of there when they were alive because they could not take the urine polluted stench that had been made, that has been, they probably weren't monsters originally. They probably were good people that got lost in there, and they tried to get out of there as soon as they smelt that air, that urine inflated air, and they probably tried to get out of there, but they couldn't take the urine, but they could not take the smell of the urine. And they're trying to get, okay, they, back when these monsters were alive, and there were people, no doubt, they probably tried to get out of there too because they couldn't take the stench of this 1,000-year-old urine, and then it killed them. They couldn't find a way out. They died because of the urine stench of the first level in the backrooms. Then they died, and for 1,000 years, come on. No one seemed to think of this, that maybe, okay, these monsters in the first level of the backrooms must have died because they couldn't take the smell of the stench that was in there for 1,000. No one seems to stop to think that maybe these monsters were people at one point, and they got lost in there, and they could not take, the smell of this 1,000-year-old urine stench, and no one seems to stop and think that maybe these monsters were people at one point, and they smelt the air, the urine infested air, and they were like, "Good God, what is this? It smells terrible down here." They would have tried to get out of there as fast as they could, but they couldn't make it. Now they're dead, and they're monsters, and they're haunting the urine stench from 1,000 years ago, and they're probably trying to get, you're in, forget about you guys, you guys are somebody alive is down there trying to get out of there. Have they ever stopped to think that maybe the monsters that haunt down there are trying to get you out of there? Because they don't want you to end up the way they did? I mean, think about it. They're probably they probably have the right to scare the crap out. They probably have the right to scare you out of there because they don't want you to suffer the same fate they did. You know, having to smell this urine stench, this 1,000-year-old urine stench. Like if it, like I mean, they probably want you out of there more than you do because they don't want you to take in the same smell, the same urine smell that they took in that killed them, and they're probably just trying to scare you the blazes out of there so you don't end up the way they did. Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought of that? Like those monsters, the monsters and the dead on that first level of the backrooms, they probably want you out of there because they know you're a good person and they don't want you to die the same way they died. You know, having to take in this 1,000-year-old urine stench and then end up dead because of it. So they probably want you, the blazes, out of there just as much as you do to get you out of there. Because they don't want you to suffer the same fate they did. Have you ever stopped to think of that?